My friend's husband.
Your friend's husband came to me. It was like, yo, hey, this girl, she need to be saved. And he was like, he was like, she needs to be saved. And I think you should talk to her.
Oh,
and I was like...
So we just going to lie to the people today. That's what we doing. That's what this video going to be about.
You didn't need to be saved?
But Jesus saved me. No, you can't save me. Jesus already did that.
She needs to be saved. So that's exactly what happened.
I told y'all on Instagram, I did a poll about whether I should bring him on here because he don't know how to act. And I was like, I told y'all he's not going to know how to act. Y'all see what I'm talking about? And welcome back to my channel. It has been a few weeks since I've actually loaded a new video. I said I was going to do better this year because I did take a break at the end of last year, but I just feel like we needed a minute, or I needed a minute to get myself together and regroup. And so now I'm back and I have a special guest today. It's my wonderful husband, Kenneth.
How y'all doing?
I have shown pictures of him and things like that throughout the videos, but this is his first time actually being on one of my videos, and I'm super excited. Instead of it being super formal and diving right into infertility or anything like that, I wanted you guys to just get to know us and find out who we are as a couple. I know I've done a get to know me video, so now let's get to know us.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
So, me and Kenneth have been together about 5 years, and we...
Hey, don't be calling me by my government name.
Here we go. Okay.
Play that.
Anyway, we have been together about 5 years, and we have been married for a little bit over 3 years now. Yeah, actually almost 3.5 years.
Something like that.
Yeah, we're getting there. And so we actually... I thought maybe we can start with telling like how we met and stuff. I think that would be a good way to kind of start. Do you want to tell a story?
Go for it. You go for it.
Am I going to be talking this whole video?
Yes, you are.
Or are you not going to talk? Okay, so we actually are both divorced from previous relationships. And we actually went through our divorces at like the exact same time. We did not know each other at the time. But he was divorced in like November of like 2015, something like that. And I was divorced in December of 2015, something like that. I can't remember. I think that was the right year. Yeah. And so we both have a mutual friend who will probably watch this video. We have mutual friends who are actually married. I went to high school with the wife, and he's in the military with the husband. And so I was actually struggling to get through my divorce. It was just a lot because being married was always like my dream. I wanted to get married, have this beautiful, picturesque fairy tale life with a husband and kids, and that fairy tale was crashing and burning at the time. So I was super distraught about it. And my friend who I went to high school with was like, hey, I know this guy who just went through a divorce as well. She was like, as much as I want to help you, I've never been there. And I think that maybe if you talk to somebody who's going through the same thing as you, that might be helpful to you. Yeah. And initially I was like, no, absolutely not. I'm not about to be telling some random person my problems. I don't know them, whatever. And then something told me like, hey, even if, you get on the phone and y'all talk and he thinks you're crazy, you never have to see this person or talk to this person ever again. So why not? So I changed my mind and I said, all right, that's fine. And that's how that ended up happening. She kind of like gave him my number.
Was her husband talked to me. He was like, hey bro, there's this girl. I think she needs
my husband.
No.
Oh, my friend's husband.
Your friend's husband came to me. It was like, yo, hey, there's this girl. She need to be saved. And he was like, he was like, she needs to be saved, and I think you should talk to her. Oh, and I was like,
so we just gonna lie to the people today. That's what we doing. That's what this video gonna be about.
You didn't need to be saved,
but Jesus saved me. No, you can't save me. Jesus already did that.
She needs to be saved. So that's
told,
exactly what happened.
I told y'all on Instagram I did a poll about whether I should bring him on here because he don't know how to act, and I was like, I told y'all he not gonna know how to act. Y'all see what I'm talking about?
Like I said, she needed to be saved. I happened to be a hero without a cape, so I came to her rescue. I called her. She was distraught. She sounded like she was packing bags, like she was leaving a relationship. She didn't know what to do with herself.
So we just gonna keep lying.
Mind. What are you talking about?
You're lying. You're flat out lying.
How's that a flat out lie?
Because that is not what happened. Okay, so you first of all,
so you wasn't packing. You wasn't packing.
But that's not what I was packing.
Were you packing?
All right. Anyway, back to my story. Anyway, so she tells me that she would give him like my number, and then she basically put us in contact with each other. So I was packing, but not from the relationship. I was already divorced. I was packing because I was actually going to Hawaii the next day. So that's why I was packing, for the record. So I think God introduced him to me at the perfect time, which is really interesting because I was actually distraught at the time that he called me. So I was packing my bag, and I remember just sitting there thinking like, man, I'm about to go to Hawaii. And this would be an amazing trip to go on with my husband, but I don't have one anymore. And I just broke down into tears. Like, I was just crying. And I was just like, God, I can't believe this is how my life is playing out, right? And I kid you not, a few minutes later, my phone rings. Literally a few minutes later. That was the first time we had a conversation. I tried to, like, clear up my voice. I don't know if you even noticed.
I don't remember.
Do you remember our conversation?
Somewhat. I remember.
So I am going to tell the whole story.
Go on.
So we ended up talking, and we were just having a conversation, and I just remember being on the phone for like maybe an hour or two, and he was just very kind and just telling me, you know, basically telling his story, talking about what his experience was, and just talking about things he did to kind of get through what he had experienced.
So ultimately, if y'all are not tracking, she was going through a divorce. I had already went through one. I already got over the hurdle of being divorced. It was well in my soul. And so they just said, hey, her friends and my friend in the military just said, hey, why don't you just talk to her? Maybe you can help her get through it. So it was genuinely just using my situation to help somebody who went through the same. And I was really only doing it simply just because he asked me to. That's the honest God truth. He asked me to do it. I was like, sure.
Yeah, so there was never like a thought of like, oh, this person I'm interested in each other. That's not at all what it was. Now, after the first conversation, I believe, like I remember getting off the phone and being like, that was a really good conversation. That was literally what I thought. Like, I was like, wow, that was really nice. And so I think at that point, it may have been before the first conversation or after that one that I asked Shanika, I was like, hey, send me a picture of him. I want to know like who I'm talking to. Like, and it wasn't like, again, it was not because I was interested. I just was like, send me a picture, and I wanted, because it's weird talking to somebody you don't even know what they look like. So he sent me the picture, and I was like, oh, he's cute. That was the first thing I thought, and then I was just like, okay, whatever. But still, I'm the crazy girl who is dealing with a divorce. I was not thinking like that. What was happening on your end as far as like after our first conversation? Like, what were your thoughts?
I thought it was felt like it was cool. You know what I'm saying? Had a good conversation, and probably just thinking like, hey, it'd be nice to have another conversation.
and we did. So a few days later, you know what? I think the first time we talked, I was actually like 2 days out from going to Hawaii, because I think we talked like 2 days later. He actually we texted each other or something like that. He was like, it was nice talking to you or something like that, and I was like, yeah, we should talk again. And then I remember saying, hey, you know, I have a layover on my way to Hawaii. Is a few hours at the airport. So he was like, okay, well, we'll talk then. It was like in the middle of the night, I think it was in California somewhere. And he sat on the phone with me for like most of that layover. And I just remember having such a good conversation. Like, I felt like that conversation, we were just getting to know each other. He was telling me all about his family and just all these different things about how he felt. And we were talking about God. And it was just such a good conversation. And I think that was the conversation I was like, okay, I think I'm interested.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's all you got to say. Okay.
Nah, honestly, I guess it's a side note of the story. It's like before I had met her, I asked God to, like, hey, I don't care what you do, just let the next one be someone that's spirit led. You know what I'm trying to say? And I feel like through those couple of conversations, I felt like that was God answering what I asked for. And not to say that after the two conversations, I was like, oh, this is who I'm going to be talking to. But it was more like, I felt like that's what God was revealing to me. But still didn't think much of it at the time. But that was that.
And he actually told me later on that he did that prayer was like a week before we actually had our first conversation. And the funny thing for me was a month before that, I wrote a list of things that because my first marriage was a whole hot mess, and so I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna be specific this time. I don't want just a husband. I mean, this list was long, and he literally was everything on the list except for he did not live in Chicago. That was the only thing that he didn't meet, even to the point where I want him to be kind of chocolate because I like chocolate, and as you can see, the Lord answers prayers, even the ones that don't feel like they matter, and he can grow a beard. So he really answered my prayers here. But yeah, so when I was in Hawaii, then we had our first FaceTime, and we were just, honestly, I was tired that whole trip because I would be out on the beach all day with my mom and my friends, because that's who I was there with, and then at night I would be on FaceTime, like, on the balcony, just talking to him half the night, like, and it was just such a good conversation. And I want to say it was like 3 weeks later that I got flued out, and and he lived in Texas at the time. He lived in Texas at the time.
Keeps talking like, just say you got saved. Stop saying,
sir.
That is the
no, did not.
That's what the word you need to use.
No, I got flued out, and he was actually stationed in Texas at the time, and I was living in Chicago. So I flew down to Dallas because it was the closest airport, I guess, to where he was living. So I flew down there, and I was, staying with my friend who was in the military. Yeah, it was 3 weeks later because it was February was when I went to Hawaii, and then March is when I came to Dallas and met you in person.
Yeah,
it was 3 weeks later, I think. And from there, we've been rocking ever since.
And that is how we met.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Well, my bad. That is how she got saved. But
he gets on my nerves. He annoys me to my soul. Anyway,
what are we doing?
That's how we met, and I guess
say that is how.
No, I'm not saying that.
Say that is how.
That is how
I got saved.
We met.
Go. What are we doing now?
Okay, so I guess the next thing before, because I have a little idea, but the next thing I wanted to ask is, how did you know that I was the one? How did you know you were supposed to be married to me in the first place?
There is no the one.
Okay, well, what does that mean?
What it means is that you were a very good calculated risk.
Wait, what? What the heck does that mean?
Nah, in reality, like I said, I don't think everything is never going to be all the way clear. As I get older, I kind of understand and comprehend that you really just want, for me, it was just getting those foundational things checked off. Hey, we believe in the same God. She's a fighter for her relationships, meaning at the first wrong turn, she's not going to give up. You know what I mean? Can we be friends? Can we read and pray together? Things like that. It's really those foundational core. Does she love? Is she concerned for me? Does she, you know what I'm trying to say? Things of those natures. Everything else, I'm sure there's some more important foundational things you could throw in that pot. But everything else will continually change. So you can't base it. I didn't base it off things that will continually change. It's very rare. Put it like this: it's very rare somebody will go from believing in God to an atheist. It's very rare that somebody will go from heterosexual to homosexual. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it's very rare that the foundation of who you are is going to change. So to me, let's, like I said, I know I said calculated risk and it sounded bad, but in all honesty, like, you are taking a risk when you ask somebody to marry you. You're taking a risk when you decide that, yes, I will spend the rest of my life with you. There is a risk, but you just want to make sure you take calculated risk. Just make sure the odds are in your favor, and to the best of your ability. It doesn't mean that you're going to get it right, but like we said, the odds are in your favor. So,
well, I think I knew pretty early on that this was my husband. I think I fought it for a little while. Like, that's a story for another day. But I fought it for a little while because I feel like I was still kind of broken from my previous marriage. So, but I kind of knew early on just because of like who he was. The thing about him that stood out the most is how kind he is. Like, I mean, just to everybody. Like, I feel like he don't give anybody the shirt off his back. If he can help you, he gonna help you. And I mean, he don't need to know you. He don't even have to like you. If he feels like there's a need, he's gonna do it. And it's just, I love that about him. And it's just certain things about him that just stood out. So I kind of, like I said, I knew pretty early on that this was my husband. I just kind of was a little scared to go right back down that road again because I was married in 2013 and then married again in 2017. Like, it wasn't no wasting no time. So there was some healing that needed to be done. But I thought you were gonna give a more like romantic answer, but I guess. But the thing that I thought he was gonna say,
when you go through things like a divorce and stuff like that, like, romance is still great and important, but when you moved in that mindset in your first marriage or things like that, your whole mindset changes. It's like, who cares about don't get me wrong, romance is important, all that stuff is important, and the whatever you want to call it, gushy feelings, all that good stuff, all that's great, but at the end of the day, you got to make a decision with your mind, not your heart. You know what I mean? So, and that's where a lot of us go wrong. We love with our hearts, not our minds, and I know that sounds weird because you do love with your heart.
I think it makes sense because love is a choice. It's not just a feeling.
You still definitely have to. You have to think your relationship through. You can't just go off the pull of your emotions. So
I agree. I thought what he was going to say is because there was he actually said this in our wedding vows that he was reading the Bible and the scripture, like, I guess he was trying to find out, like, should he move forward?
That's true.
And that scripture, I mean, you can tell it if you want.
Like she said, we are from two different parts of the earth. So at the end of the day, when I was inquiring about, is she my wife or God, I was reading Genesis. Can't remember the chapter and the verse, but pretty much they had told was it Jacob? Said Jacob to go back to his father's homeland to find a wife. And what happened with me when I read that, my wife lived in my father's homeland, which was Chicago. So that was my confirmation to me that, all right, this is it. You know what I mean? And to this day, I don't think I'm wrong. So
you better not be wrong.
That's how that goes.
But yeah, that's the answer I thought he was going to give. I do think his other answer is important too, though. But that was the thing that he said that was like confirmation for before he proposed and all that. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I wanted to like get to know how we met and all that. But the last thing I wanted to do was we have questions for each other that we're going to ask each other. We don't know what the other person's going to ask. I just kind of want to get his candid answer. And as you can see, he's a character, so this should be interesting. Okay, so my first question is, what is one talent that you secretly wish that you had that you don't possess already? Like something that if there was anything in the world that you could do that you could be talented at that you aren't talented at, what would it be?
I'll be a super duper mega superstar producer. That's
what you do music. That doesn't
But I'm
count
not a producer though.
yet. Like you.
No. I'm probably never gonna be a good producer.
Don't say in the name of Jesus. Yes, you will. Okay.
I'm serious about that.
You might be.
But
you already okay. So he is a gospel rapper,
yeah.
and he's been working on beats and stuff like that. He's learning this kind of stuff. So I don't think that is not a good answer because like that's related to what you already do. Like
I'm just saying.
What is something that's like completely out of the blue that you would like to do that not music?
A talent that I wish I could maybe be an athlete.
Like professional athlete?
Yeah, like a professional athlete.
You would be an NBA, NFL? Boxer? You do like boxing?
I do like boxing, but
I don't want your face to get beat up on though. I wouldn't like that.
I don't think my hands are good enough.
I said, okay, I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about if you had a talent, like secret talent that you're not good at. Like, would it be boxing? Like, if you could be Floyd Mayweather and not be a clown, but just be Floyd Mayweather as far as talent, would you do it?
Yeah, I would do it.
Would you rather be Floyd Mayweather talent wise, or would you rather be Carmelo Anthony?
I'd be any basketball player.
So you'd rather be basketball then?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Okay. That's a good, that makes sense. My next question is, if we won $50 million tomorrow and you never had to be in the military again, like you don't have to work anymore, what would you spend your days doing? Like would you have a job that you just did for free or what would you do with your time?
I would enjoy the fruits of my money. That's what I would do.
So nothing.
I would probably I would do music full time. And then, on the other spectrum of that, I think I would probably do a lot of helping people, giving away or whatever, something to that degree. To be honest, that's what I believe I would do. But then again, people get $50 million in their hand and they switch it up. But that's what I believe that I would do. So
we always talked about if we not won the lottery because we don't play the lottery, but if we just randomly won a bunch of money or made a lot of money, that how we would help our families, and we talk about this kind of stuff all the time. Like
I played the lottery like 4 months ago.
Okay, you played it one time in like how many years? We don't play it on a regular basis. I'm not knocking the lottery, do you? But I just mean we don't play it on a regular basis. It's not something we actually do.
Yeah, I did it
on that. Okay, that was a good question. What is your favorite thing that I cook for you? Like, what's your favorite meal that I've ever made you?
Oh. Huh?
Nothing but. Our dog wants to make an appearance. Say hi, Mello. Say hi, Coco. Okay, now go.
What do I just like that you cook?
The fact that he got to think this hard, and I cook several times a week.
But see, she cooked what she liked to cook. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know if that makes sense, but she'd be cooking what she want to make, not what I want her to make.
I'm trying to decide, should I be offended by that? But anyway, go ahead.
What? What'd you say? The kitchen calling you right now. Get in there.
Guess who's going to bed hungry?
Calling your name.
Guess who's going to bed hungry today? Go ahead.
Anytime you maybe cook something that's like Mexican style.
I love Mexican food.
Also, I don't know what you call it. It's some big chicken with rice type stuff like that you
in the pan.
Put everything and bake it all at the same time.
You want the chicken thighs?
Yeah, chicken thighs and rice and sausages really and stuff.
That is fun.
Yeah, that goes hard. So,
okay. This is my last question. So we actually like to travel a lot. Like we did used to travel a lot before COVID. So what was your favorite trip that we've taken together? And what was your favorite memory about it?
I guess it'd be Jamaica. What was the favorite part of that trip?
Jamaica was pretty lit.
Probably the day we did our photo shoot. We got to go downtown Jamaica, or I don't know if it was downtown, but we got to get into
Montego Bay.
Got to get into the city of it. We had a guide that took us around. I thought that was pretty enjoyable.
Let me give a little backstory about this. So he took me to Jamaica for my birthday. It was a surprise birthday trip. I knew I was going somewhere, but I didn't know where we were going. We went to Jamaica. My favorite part of the trip was definitely hiking the waterfall. That was definitely my favorite thing. We had so much fun. But so he scheduled this photo shoot while we were there. Mind you, we've been together over a year. I'm like, I know he's gonna propose at some point. So I'm thinking he's gonna propose on this photo shoot, like, because I'm like, it's perfect. Like, we're in Jamaica. There's a photographer. I am a photographer. This is the perfect way to propose. So I'm thinking the whole time, literally getting dressed in the morning, like texting my friends, like, should I get proposed to in this outfit? Should I get, does my makeup look good to get engaged today? Like, I literally was thinking it the whole day. We get to this photo shoot. We take all these photos. I'm looking for like bulges in his pocket for the ring. I was literally the whole day. He had a backpack. I was like, the ring gotta be in there, right? We get on this photo shoot. We're almost at the end of this photo shoot. We sit down on this bench and he's taking pictures of us. And sorry guys, let me finish my story. So we're in Jamaica and we sit down on this bench and I'm thinking, okay, this is it. He's about to propose. Like I said, I have been checking his pockets, looking for rings and everything. And we sit down on the bench, the photographer's taking pictures, and then he whispers, he's like, are you sure you want to marry me? And I'm like, oh yes, this is it. He about to propose. This is perfect. And then he don't say nothing else. Like, that was it. like, yeah. So I'm sitting there like, okay, like, what's going to happen? We get back in the car. We drive back to the hotel, and I'm confused. Like, I thought I was about to get engaged. I didn't text all my friends and everything, and there's no ring. So I get back to the hotel, and I have, like, an attitude. And I feel like he was probably thinking, like, what is wrong with this girl? I brought her to Jamaica for her birthday, and she got a whole attitude. Like, and finally he's like, what's wrong? And then I just kind of, like, break down. I'm like, I thought you were going to propose. I was crying, like, really crying. And he was like, oh, my bad. No, I'm sorry. That's not what I was doing. Mm-hmm. So I kind of got over my little attitude, and we enjoyed the rest of the trip. But, yeah, I thought he was going to propose, and, yeah.
Yeah, she thought she was going to get saved.
This saved stuff, sir. No. That's not at all it. I just thought he was going to propose. But actually, what ended up happening is like 3 or 4 days later, after we got back, he planned like a surprise get together with my family and friends and proposed then, which was really, really great. Really, really nice. And it kind of the Jamaica trip just kind of threw me off. I just thought we were going to get engaged in Jamaica. But I loved how he did it. It was great. Mm-hmm. Happy ending, even though I got played a little bit.
Would you rather have a rewind button or a pause button in your life? And if you had it, what situation would you use it in?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could say both.
So rewind or pause, which one would you choose?
I think now I would say a pause button. In the past, I might have said rewind. Just because I want to relive some really nice moments. But
what
pause.
Would you pause on?
I would pause in moments when I get super emotional, like, and kind of stop, let the emotions out, and then critically think my way out of things instead of responding out of emotion. Yeah, I think I would do the pause button.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be wise for you to pause.
What you trying to say?
You can be dramatic, but you're awesome though. All right, next.
Wait, you gonna throw this shade and then say, but you're awesome though.
Next.
All right.
How did it make you feel the first time you bucked up to your mama?
All right, she gonna watch this. I don't want to answer that. Okay. Bucked up to my mama. Okay, we're not talking about that. Next question. No.
How did it make you feel?
No.
Did it make you feel like empowered? Did it make you feel small because she came back and jacked you up? Like, how did it make you feel?
Gosh. So this is what I meant about like having him on my channel. Like, what? I'm not answering that question. Love you, Mom.
Hey, you told me to come up with questions. What scares you the most in life?
My biggest fear is not living up to what God has called me to do. Like, not...
What has he called you to do? Because that's the only way you can wager if you living up to it.
Okay, so I don't think God calls us to do one thing. I think God calls us to do several things throughout our life. And every day it might be something little here, something big there, something different. Ultimately, I think it's to share his love and his light and bring other people to Jesus. That's what I think we're all called to do. But I think that he calls us in different ways and wants us to do different things. But for me, I can live this great life, have all the things that I say I want. But if I don't please God and I'm not being obedient to his will for my life, I think I've missed the mark completely. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that's my biggest fear. Like, I'm more scared of not accomplishing what God tells me he wants for me than I am like just going after some of the big things he tells me to do. Like, I'm more scared to not do it.
Roger that. So, last question. In 3 words, it doesn't have to be like a sentence, but in 3 words, what does friendship mean to you?
Love.
1.
Dang, I'm really getting it out. Love is 1. Support.
2.
I only got one more word. I gotta use it wisely. I'm trying to think of what word I'm trying to say. Like, I know what the idea is.
Come on, Cletus.
And truth.
Okay, I would have said transparency, but yeah, go ahead. Same thing.
I think, yeah, that's what would be mine. Like, I want my friends to love me. I want them to be supportive of me, but I also want them to be, like, to tell me the truth, whether it's good or bad. Tell me, like, whether it's the truth about something that happened or the truth that they see I'm doing something wrong or, like, or they feel like they need to just speak up or whatever it may be. Tell me the truth.
Roger that.
That's a good question, babe.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. That's it for today. Unless you have something else to add. I am so happy that you came on here with me. Mm-hmm. I want to have him back I will probably have him back pretty often. I think it's good to get a different perspective on my channel, especially when we're talking about things like infertility or marriage, because that's another topic that I do want to talk more about. I'm happy he came on, and I think that you guys get to know me a little bit better when you get to know my husband, because this is who I spend every day with. Mm-hmm. As crazy, as fun, and as silly as he is, he's also very kind and thoughtful, and he does speak some truth sometimes to me when I need to hear it, even though sometimes I don't want to hear it. But yeah, this is my other half or whole or however you want to put it. But so thank you guys for watching my channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and make sure you guys subscribe. Oh, and if you guys have any questions that you might want me to ask him next time he's on, you can definitely leave it below, and I'll be sure to like add it to our next video together. So thank you.
Oops.